2 days until Thanksgiving, and Sarah Palin has been busy gathering ingredients for the family feast.
You know, thankfully, we're in a good position. All of that comes into play now at $50 barrel oil.
That hurts like crap.
Then you throw them up on top of the deck, and you got them right there.
All right, that was totally gratuitous, but you have not lived until you've tried Palin's recipe for bludgeoned halibut. Delicious. The former Alaska governor actually in Phoenix tonight to kick off a 16-stop tour to promote her new book, America by Heart, Reflections on Family, Faith, and Flag, out today. Hundreds showed up to get Sister Sarah's autograph in Phoenix. She didn't arrive until about 6 o'clock, but the first in line was there at 1 o'clock this morning. The hysteria is utterly Bieber-esque. Palin's book tour includes 2 stops in Iowa and 1 in South Carolina, both key primary states, of course. That itinerary has let the Palin-obsessed media speculate that she's planting seeds for a presidential run. Palin sounded last night on Fox News an awful lot like a candidate running against the incumbent president.
And when it comes to the economy, very basic free market enterprise principles that can be applied. And I know that they work, Sean, because for 20 years as a city manager, as a mayor, as a council member, a lawmaker, as a commissioner, and then as a governor, I applied those free market, pro-private sector, pro-states' rights, had to sue the feds on different issues, pro-individual right principles, putting them into play. I know what works. Also, because I've worked in the private sector, I understand how to make a payroll, how to balance a budget, those things that someone like Barack Obama and many in his administration have no clue about because they just don't have that world experience.
She knows what works. Joining me now, Douglas Brinkley, professor of history at Rice University and author of The Quiet World, Saving Alaska's Wilderness Kingdom. That's due in January. Also with us, Republican strategist and columnist for The Hill, Sherry Jacobus. Thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Doug, let me begin with you. Ronald Reagan is mentioned by one count 33 times in Sarah Palin's new book. The only character who's not a member of her family that's mentioned more than Reagan is God, if you count it up. You edited President Reagan's diaries. Few people understand the man better. What do you think Reagan would think of Sarah Palin?
Well, I think he probably liked her spirit of, you know, a kind of patriotism that she has, the pluck to get into the fight. She's fearless. There's a lot to be admired there. What we got to be careful, though, is that all these Republican politicians that want to run for president are going to try to ride on Ronald Reagan's coattails. Governor Palin was a 2-year governor of Alaska and quit. Ronald Reagan wasn't a quitter. I mean, he ran for governor of California, which was a huge economy, and ran it the state from 1967 to 1975. And so he had a real public service record to run on. We have a governor who won in a small state like Alaska and then just dropped out. Reagan wasn't a quitter, and I think that's going to be the hard part for Sarah Palin to get over if she's going to try to really connect with more than her Republican, you know, people that are following her right now.
Sherry, do you think it's an insult to have Governor Palin comparing herself this way to Ronald Reagan, to a conservative icon?
You know, I don't think it's an insult. We have many, many Republicans who are comparing themselves or trying to compare themselves, or at least aspiring to be Reagan-esque. And so if that's what she's trying to do, to aspire to be Reagan-esque, that's not a bad thing. There's no downside to that. If she goes too far and she compares herself to be completely like him, people might be a little bit hard on her. I do want to take issue with one thing you said, Willie, when you were a little bit earlier. You said that the attention she's getting in her book tour is Bieber-esque. I think it's more Obama-esque. When you look at where he was in 2008 in his book tour and the adoring crowds, only he had adoring media. So I think there's some similarities in terms of the celebrity of these two political individuals.
Well, let's talk, Doug, about whether or not Sarah Palin can pull off what Barack Obama did pull off. Some analysts reading into Palin's book tour stops, particularly the ones in Iowa and South Carolina, and seeing, frankly, the path to the Republican nomination there. Do you see any reason why she couldn't be the party's nominee, Doug?
No, she definitely can be, and this is an incredible rollout you have going on right now with the TLC, Sarah Palin's Alaska program, is essentially an infomercial, endless infomercial for a book that's destined to be #1 through the holiday season, and momentum, which is always so important in politics. She's going to have to go, whether it's, you know, Huckabee and Palin or Haley Barbour, and we pick people on the list, Newt Gingrich in Iowa, it's going to be 5 guys and Sarah Palin. She has a great chance, I think, particularly even if she could come in second in Iowa. Mitt Romney might win New Hampshire, but if she goes to South Carolina, it's her turf. So there is a roadmap for her to get the nomination. Where she goes after that is hard to tell, and that's the danger right now she has. She's launching a great kinetic kind of November-December strategy. It should carry her through the spring, but will people get Palin fatigue, or how many of her kind of off-the-cuff remarks are people going to be able to take when it gets down to real nitty-gritty debate with somebody like Barack Obama? I think she's very much unlike Obama. Obama's an intellectual. Obama was the, at Harvard Law School Review. She's somebody coming out of a kind of populist tradition. They're very different candidates.
But she's very proud of that, Sherry. She takes pride in the fact that she is not Barack Obama, that she didn't come out of Harvard, Columbia, and Chicago School of Law.
Right.
She's using that to her advantage, isn't she?
Well, yes, and you heard her listing her experience. Her experience is more than Barack Obama had before he ran for president, and that's just a fact. Whether you like the fact that she quit her job halfway through as governor, there were some other concerns, as we know, with the family and in terms of what she wanted to do. But one thing that's unique about her, obviously, the fact that she's a woman. And women historically are subjected to the accusation that perhaps they aren't tough enough or mean enough and they can't handle battle. I think what we're hearing so far about this book and what we've heard from Sarah Palin, I think she's tough enough, and that's what she's proving to everybody. So it would be a fascinating race. I think that she's kind of done a lot for women in that regard. I don't think anybody can say that this woman is not tough enough to take on Barack Obama or anybody else.
I agree with you, Sherry. I don't think many people are questioning her toughness, but how about you? Do you think she's fit to be commander-in-chief?
At this point, I think she would make a good candidate, but because she hasn't come out with a lot of policy initiatives, just like Barack Obama didn't early on, I think it would be hard to say. But here's the thing: everybody tonight they're thinking about Sarah Palin's daughter, Bristol Palin, Dancing with the Stars, and will she win or what? Maybe it's over by now. I don't even know. But the kid that I'm worried about is over there in North Korea, the 20-something-year-old who's going to have his access to enriched uranium, and that's what I think can really turn things overnight. Right now, we're looking at all these governors that are running, and you're looking at what happened in this last election with the domestic issues. This can turn around, and we could very quickly find ourselves. American people may want somebody who's very solid on foreign affairs, so we could have an entirely different list of Republican candidates a few months from now who are strong on foreign affairs that we're not even thinking about right now.
Doug, it's been fascinating to watch the kind of back and forth between some of the Republican establishment and Sarah Palin. We heard Barbara Bush a couple of nights ago saying she hopes Governor Palin will remain in Alaska and stay away from Washington. Karl Rove even's been a little bit critical of Palin's media blitz, suggesting several weeks back that a reality show doesn't show presidential gravitas. Palin actually responded to Rove. Let's listen.
With Karl Rove, I'm all for that if he understands where it is I'm coming from. And where it is I'm coming from when I talk about some interjection of my life into pop culture, he needs to understand that pop culture is the influencer in this country, in our society. So we are to be salt and light. We're not to just be sitting there in our own little circle of influence. And though the Fox News viewership is huge, larger than any other news organization, of course, just preaching to the choir with Fox viewers, no, we need to get out there and reach people who are so independent that perhaps they would never think to tune into Fox News and introduce some good ideas to these people.
I guess that's the question, though, Doug. Can she speak to independents? I mean, conventional wisdom seems to be that she could win the Republican nomination, but if you look at it right now, wouldn't be able to get the independent vote that she'd need to beat Barack Obama in a couple of years.
No, she has such incredible negatives. The people that are really cheering Sarah Palin on, besides her fan base, her Twitter base, are Democrats. The Obama administration's, just hoping she's the Republican nominee. There's nobody Barack Obama would rather run against than Sarah Palin. So you have this weird specter right here of the Republicans, people like Karl Rove, Barbara Bush, the establishment, really trying to see how a path for somebody like Mitt Romney, perhaps even Huckabee for some of the evangelicals and born-again Christians in the Republican Party. So Palin's kind of an odd person out right now, and you're getting this specter. I think Karl Rove very cleverly is saying, well, we've got to have anybody but Palin. The problem Palin has is her quitting as governor, because now with doing all of these hinting to Robert Draper in the New York Times Magazine, hinting to Barbara Walters she's running. All this momentum she's creating. If she drops out now, she really looks like a quitter. If you want to see a brand get tarnished and go falling, if she gets out of the race now, she's going to look like quite a loser and somebody who just manipulated the American people.
I think you're completely wrong. I think that she can take this as far as she wants to and make her decision late. It's her endorsement that's really going to matter. But again, the whole reality show thing, it's risky. It's risky for somebody who wants to be taken seriously as a presidential candidate. It's good that she wants to reach out to other people. I don't think she can go on too long saying that she's not part of the establishment. After this last election and the influence she had in terms of getting candidates elected, she's now a major shareholder in the Republican Party. She is part of the establishment. She has changed the party, and she can take ownership of that, but also responsibility.
Why did Barbara Bush tell her to stay home in Alaska?
Well, I don't know why Barbara Bush. Yeah, I don't know why Barbara Bush would tell her to stay home.
Well, there's reasons. It wasn't accidental.
My point was that Sarah Palin is extremely influential in the party, and she can remain influential without running for president, without being president. So, I mean,
she would have to endorse somebody like Rick Perry or somebody who's palatable to the Tea Party and the conservatives, because she just can't get out and not do anything. I think at this point she would have to say, as she said before, I'll run if there's not a right candidate in the mix.
Her endorsement is going to be huge if she doesn't run.
We agree.
And I think that her impact is just undeniable.
We've got a fascinating couple years ahead of us, guys. Doug Brinkley, Sherry Jacobus of The Hill, thank you so much for being with us both tonight. Appreciate it.